Hey there! So the reason you clicked on this video is to know what a Gunpla is, right? Well, in this video I'll be telling you exactly that and a few other things you might want to know about a Gunpla. Hello there, my name is Gun and I'll be the voice of this video. Alright, let's get started. So, let's start with the definition of the word Gunpla. Gunpla is basically an abbreviation of the phrase Gundam plastic model. Now, you might be asking, what is a Gundam? Well, in my definition, a Gundam is basically a giant robot that is used for war in some Japanese anime series. But if we take a look at the definition in websites talking about Gundam, they say that Gundam are multiple animated series from Japan that has started since 1979. Now, I want everyone to know that every Gundam series has a different story, but they all have similar concepts in the story. Now, you might be asking, why would I waste my time building something that will just sit in my shelf and do nothing? Well, I'm here to tell you that there are actually some benefits towards building Gunpla. Number 1, Gunpla makes you use your brain. Now, you might think building Gunpla is simple because you don't need a lot of equipment for it. Well, I'm here to tell you that you will need to focus up if you want to build a Gunpla. Here's the thing, you're going to have to follow an instruction book that will ask you to follow a specific way to put the pieces together. If you don't do that, then it will not fit with the other pieces, and the result is you're going to have to remove those pieces from each other. Sometimes it'll be easy, other times you're going to have a hard time doing that. Number 2, they are a great piece of decoration. It doesn't matter if you've customized it or not, it's just going to be an eye-catching piece wherever you put it. Whether it be in your room, your living room, the kitchen, it doesn't matter. It'll just stand out on its own. Number 3, a sense of accomplishment. Like I said, Gunpla is not easy to build. That's why you feel a sense of accomplishment once you're done building one. Now, the hard part of building Gunplas are not only the pieces you have to put together, but it's also time consuming. So if you don't have a lot of time, you're going to take days, maybe even weeks to finish it. Now, if you do have a lot of time, it'll just take a few hours to finish it. From my personal experience, I've taken somewhere between 4 to 8 hours to finish a Gunpla. That also depends on the grade of the Gunpla you bought. Number 4, there are Gunplas for all skill level. Now, in the previous benefits, you might have heard me said the grade of the Gunpla. What I mean by that is the difficulty of the Gunpla. So, by the time of this recording, there are only 5 Gunpla grades, which are SD, HG, RG, MG, and PG. SD stands for Super Deform, HG stands for High Grade, RG stands for Real Grade, MG stands for Master Grade, and PG stands for Perfect Grade. So the easiest to build and cheapest to buy are SDs and HG grades. SDs are basically a cuter and smaller size version of an HG, while an HG is basically a normal size Gunpla with less details than the RG, MG, and PG grades. Even though these models don't have as much details as the other grades, they're still a good piece to have, and they're a good starting point for anyone who wants to get into the world of Gunpla building. Now, the most difficult and the most expensive Gunpla grades are the MG and PG grades. The reason why is because they have a lot more pieces than the SD, HG, and RG, and they have better plastic quality than the SD, HG, or RG. Now, something to note about MG and PG grades, they both have a lot more detail than the HG, SD, and RG grades. Because of that, they will look much better up close. And they will also take a lot more time to build because of the more pieces. And if you make a mistake during the building process, that's going to be a very expensive mistake. That's why these 2 grades are considered the most difficult out of the 5 grades. Now, if you want a Gunpla grade that has a good amount of details while still being affordable, you can take a look at an RG grade. They're typically not that expensive, but they still have a good amount of detail similar to an MG grade. Now, something to note about the RG grade, they're the newest grade out of the 5 Gunpla grades we just talked about, which means there are not many choices of the RG grades to choose from, but there's still a lot of good ones out there that you can choose. Now if you want to have an in-depth version of the Gunpla Grades explanation, I recommend you check out this video by aMilla. Although you have to note that the Gunpla Grades that are explained here are only the major 4. Now to build a Gunpla, you're going to have to cut each individual pieces off the runners and put them together one by one. Now I'm not gonna go in depth with the best way to cut off the pieces from the runners, but I will be linking some videos that explain that in the comments. Now the simplest way to do this is to just have your nipper be at where the runner and the piece meets and just cut it off right there. That's the simplest way to do it, although I do not recommend anyone do that because you will end up with a terrible looking piece and probably some stress marks. Since we're talking about building Gunpla right now, I've actually taught my friend how to build a Gunpla using some of the techniques that are shown in the videos linked in the comments. The Gunpla that he chose to build was the high-grade wing Gundam. Now at the start he was still kind of confused on how to cut the pieces off the runners, but eventually he got comfortable and did it on his own, and this is the final result right here. Now I think he did a great job on this because there were no accidental mistakes that could have ruined this piece very much, like cutting off a part that was not supposed to by accident, like I did when I first made a Gunpla. So I think this piece is a great piece, especially since it's a beginner who just started. Thank you guys so much for watching until the end of this video. I hope you guys learned something from this. I hope it was helpful, and have a great rest of your day, guys. Peace!